Hello again, it's Garson, and can you hear all the excitement in the air? Look, everybody's getting ready for the new year, with dragons and nautiloids flying around. It's beautiful. And we just finished an honor run with our Spore Druid, and some really cool builds here with no multi-classing, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to say Happy New Year right off the bat, and we'll talk about some things, alright? In fact, I'm going to whip out the notes. This is not a typical video. And frankly, this is more for people who've been subscribing and supporting the channel and watching the run on the stream. Well, thank you so much. But you're welcome to stick around even if you're like, just found this video anyway, right? I'm going to bust out some notes because I want to talk about some things in a casual little video. I'll play a little music in the background. We have the fireworks going off, so I'll kind of turn that off for you. Hold on. Let's play a little music. Nice, beautiful Baldur's Gate music. And let's turn off the fireworks noises here. We'll just chit-chat a little bit. First off, we're going to talk about the Spore honor run we just finished. That was a lot of fun. Next, I kind of want to talk about the stream, the channel, a little self-indulgence. But of course, Happy New Year's to you guys. Seriously, thank you so much for watching lately. I really appreciate it. This is what I've wanted to do with the channel. And, you know, just in general, whoever's watching out there, whenever you find this video, whenever it's relevant, Happy New Year regardless. I hope 2025 is going to be a really fun year for me, but also for everybody else too. Alright, with all the world's craziness, I just kind of tend to ignore it and just try to focus on the positive. And one of the best things that's been happening lately is people watching, having fun, and hopefully I'm helping them out, right? So I'm just going to chat about a few of these topics and just have a little casual. I might be rambling, sorry, not sorry. Alright. So the bulk of this honor run, the bulk of this is going to be about the honor run we just did, because I want to talk about the builds. People are going to ask naturally, and I'll go ahead and share those and kind of give my input on it, how the run was, if it was enjoyable, do I recommend these builds, what was the whole point of it, like the rules of the run, not really the rules, but just sort of like a vague outline. Like I said, I'll go over the builds in detail somewhat, kind of talk about them, where I was coming from, how they worked throughout the run. There's not going to be any editing or clips in this. There's obviously the full fights I've put up on the channel, and then the streams to go back and watch. It's pretty obvious which ones just says fun guy, fungus, fungal. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just generally going to babble. This is more for me than anything, so thanks for letting me indulge if you're watching. Thanks again. Alright, so then I'm going to talk about the stream and the channel a little bit, because I kind of want to go over some stuff moving into the new year, and then obviously some New Year's wishes for me, but also for you. Alright? So, the Spore Honor Druid. Let's get into this, because this is going to be bulk of the video. And I'm pretty sure somebody out there's kind of, you know, curious about what the run was about. So, we did an honor run. This is really how I run the game. I love honor runs. This is what made me fall in love with the game a second time, and I just can't put it down. And then all of a sudden, there's just been popping out content for the channel because I can't stop playing it, so I need to start sharing it and uploading it and all that stuff, right? So the rules of this run, one of the first complete runs we've had on this channel, is have fun. No multi-classes. So if I actually go in the game here, you can see there's no multi-classes, right? Asterian's hiding back here, but I assure you, level 12, level 12, level 12, level 12. We have a Druid Spore, we have a Warlock, Great Old One, we have a Hunter, Crossbow Ranger, and Arcane Trickster hiding behind the notes probably over there. Let me see how that looks. Yeah. Don't care. Anyway, there's also, basically, our main character here is Dippy. He is a Spore Druid. I didn't want Charisma for a main character. If you play the game, you know that, you know, Charisma is pretty great for a main character, or at least having a face character. Okay? But I wanted to see some things about, you know, just backing up my word. Is insight, perception, like a wisdom main character actually pretty good? So I have some opinions on that, okay? Play a different race. Usually like pick humans or wood elves for sweaty tryhard reasons, or just, you know, that's what my preference is. So have some fun with this run. The idea here is I can be a Dweregar, try that out a little bit and on a run, see if it's any good, and also it kind of fit the theme of a Dweregar getting infested with fungus and becoming a Spore Druid and eventually, you know, conquering the world with fungus. Alright, so Wisdom Dialogue Test is something I want to see. I didn't really meet up to expectations for this. Like I said, it was more about having fun. I did see some things that plays back into the whole no charisma. Wanted to see if Wisdom Dialogue had a really thing like anything to really play into on the run, especially when it matters in honor mode. I can't take things back, can't do in-depth testing like, oh, let's reload that. So also, I've never played heavily with summons, let alone I've never played a necromancer. I was really turned off by it because of the turn-based combat. I just did those recent videos on necromancy, go check them out if you would, because we went over a lot of information. It wasn't like my typical, I can do a cool breakdown of the subject in one video. Like, I had to do 4 videos on this, and it heavily relates back to summons play, and now I've done like a true legit honor run where I didn't just have all the, you know, focus on this, but I played it into the team, the main character, and I got used to it. I made tons of mistakes with this, so you can see those in the stream. But yeah, necromancy play was something for a focus on this. We'll keep moving on. What would fungus do? This is more just like the little role play here is a Dweorgar who gets infested with fungus. I'm not really a Dweorgar, I'm actually just a fungal colony, and that's what gave me the ability. I'm not a big like lore or RP role player or anything like that, but I do like to incorporate it into my builds or runs, or, you know, if you look at playing Baldur's Gate 100 million times, you're thinking it like, what is this? Like, oh, this is just like another... This is a multiverse where the same thing keeps happening, but with different characters as the main characters or whatever. Okay, so I try to incorporate a little fun into the run like that. Also, screw the rules whenever I feel like it. This isn't that big of a deal. If it needs to be fun, it needs to be fun. Just have fun is the first rule, right? So go back to 1, start out all over again. But we kind of followed this for the most part. I'm a little harsh on myself, but, you know, people watching didn't realize this, but I was like, in the end, I was getting a little frustrated. And I just kind of like used some of my really broken stuff that I could use, and it was all in the name of fun, right? Hell, we did a lot of fun things like with Gortash and the Dweorgar and a whole bunch of stuff. Plus it was fun to show people some things they hadn't seen before, and maybe these builds were pretty interesting to you, so let's actually cover them, right? Like I said. So again, the overall idea here is Dippy isn't really a Dweorgar. He's infested with fungus. He was taken over by a myconid colony. It's in his brain, right? And so this guy's technically undead, you know, but he's just posing like a Dweorgar. And so he gets around people like Lae'zel and Minnie and Asterion and everybody. And maybe he's an ambitious fungus who is going to conquer the world, right? Alright, so Dippy himself, though, the Dweorgar formerly known as Dippy, I grabbed a a myconid name generator, and that's how I got this name, and I still can't pronounce it. Apidip? I don't know. I just literally looked one up, and I was like, yeah, Dippy, that's his name now. So he is our Spore Druid. I've never played a full Spore Druid in, maybe not even Tactician, I forget. I did a lot of goofy Tactician runs, but then when I started playing Honor Mode, I was so obsessed with multis, and that was a big theme in the run is no multi-classes, right? So all the builds you're going to see aren't multis. They're just pure runs. I could say a lot about that. Actually kind of lower this just a little bit. Alright. There we go. Sorry. In my ears a little bit. Hopefully it's okay for you guys too. But yeah. So Dippy's build real quick. Alright, so pure druid. There's a lot I want to say about pure level 12 builds, not multi-classing, but just for this, I think these feats were in order. Sorry if I forgot. I'm pretty sure it was 2 wisdom at level 4, and then alert at level 8, and then Warcaster, because I really didn't need a feat at level 12, but Warcaster for concentration. We had the bonus Hag Wisdom and the Mirror Wisdom. We got lucky with the Mirror and got all the characters their little bonus stats. So 2 on Wisdom from the Mirror, late in Act 3, or like early Act 3 really. And then the Hag Wisdom, he was the main character. So this really always helps in a build because you can get that early 18 Wisdom if we started at 17, right? And he had no dex and no strength. It was intentional. I played that way. I did not respect my characters, I think not even once, just the initial respec to get them started, and then just played them straight 12, and Dippy was definitely like that. So I'm pretty sure he had 8 strength and 10 dex, and then eventually I would get the gloves of dexterity, and obviously I abused the strength of elixir this run until I couldn't abuse it because I blew all my elixirs of 27 strength. Anyway, we'll get into that. But yeah, I did use squid powers. Just so you know, I'm not really big on squid powers, but I love ability drain. It's so useful. Favorable beginnings is obviously good, so my path is usually, if I'm going to use it, to get to here. Favorable beginnings, because it's powerful, especially for a main character. I don't use Psionic Overload unless it's part of the build for psychic damage, but then I get ability drain. So it's really just these two, but you need 3 squid powers to get them, okay? And then that's kind of where I stop, because I'm not big on it unless that's the point of the build, and I don't actually have a lot of experience on it. But Statmanology. So there's a dedicated video on what I mean by Statmanology, but the basic breakdown here is I took 15 intelligence. Why? I don't know. I just wanted to stay away from charisma. I already knew charisma was going to be great for a main character, but that was the test, right? So I also wanted to see maybe if there was benefits to intelligence. I don't know why I started on... I forgot why I started on an even number. Maybe I thought I was going to raise it to 16, or an odd number. Maybe I thought I was going to go to 16 with a ASI. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not the craziest stat. I'll talk about it in a video, but you know what is a good stat? Wisdom's a good stat. Okay, so we started with 17. The Hag Wisdom would get me to 18. I knew that, and that's why I started that way. And I started with 8 Strength because I knew I would write off the riff. This would be a stat man where I abuse the abilities, the methods to get crazy strength for free. He used that elixir slot for strength the whole game. And then dexterity gloves, I knew we could get that early by dealing with the goblins pretty early, so we could move on to the Kresh and buy these or steal these pretty easily. And that's how he ends up with his Statmanology 21, 18, 15, 22. And Con at 14 is pretty good for concentration, for HP. Okay, so he's so good for a main character. Statmanology is a great way to play a main character in honor mode run, so you know. So I did a video on it, but having these stats, I don't have to really BS too much with managing my inventory. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess. I just hit this. That's good enough for me if I need to find something. But this is so great, and I'm still not... This is 21. I had 27 strength, man. All right. So most of the game, this is what my carry limit capacity was. Do you see me organizing beyond that? No. It just gets me to play the game more fun. And strength has a lot of bonuses I could go over in a whole dedicated video, but yeah, picking people up, right? Throwing them off a cliff, pushing them, saving allies. There were times where I had to like save Minnie and I could like push her reliably with this, right? So strength, Statmanology. Also Dex is the best stat in the freaking game, okay? It gives you initiative. It gives you armor class, right? Since we were going towards a light armor, I would get my full armor class bonus from it. It gives you a reliable range source, and that plays into what I'm going to talk about with the Spore Druid. So just keep all of this in mind while I'm talking about Spore Druid, all right? Especially as a main character, Dippy really could handle everything, even without the charisma, because I think I gave him a little persuasion bonus there on his character creation. So the idea here is like he's going to use his fungus to invade your mind. Maybe read it. I don't know. It's just fun. But all that being said, the Statman helps out immensely. This could have been charisma if I really wanted an easier time talking to people. So this build is crazy. And Spore Druid and Druid in general can really benefit a lot from Statmanology. Okay, so great spell save and attack. So we now know this for real because we ran this, right? This isn't me just saying, wow, look at the numbers. These numbers were always reliable. If you look at his gear, he's not using a lot of boost to his spell save. This was a Act 3, kind of late Act 3, and it just gives a boost, 1 bonus to spell save. I wasn't really using a staff for most of the game, just a, like, I think it was just a mace or a flail for most of the game, so I never really had this bonus from a staff or anything like that. Nothing here. I'm really just grabbing stats from the dexterity or the elixir, right? And then just raising my armor class. In fact, he was using the medium armor class in the mid game. And then his rings are just, again, armor class or utility swap out right here with movement from Crusher's Ring or blindness immunity to abuse darkness or whatever it has to be. And honestly, his amulet slot was usually always like the Parap, so he can get full HP. And because of this setup and because of things like that, like, it's not that complicated of a build, but like, he was always reliable and he had reliable spell casting and attack, right? So his spell casting, because he could really just focus on wisdom, all the other stats are basically for free. He had really reliable casting, and druids have some really great spells that they can just swap out on the fly, like, oh, I don't need Insect Plague, oh, I need Planar Binding, and I can just take that. So druid is just great, but great melee. Because of Spore Druid, you get a bonus to your symbiote, gives you necrotic bonus to your weapon attacks, and because of that elixir, and even because of the dexterity gloves, I could choose just about any weapon, and not just like melee, but even ranged. But the plan was we were going to use Titan String Bow, and I goofed that up. So, oh well. I didn't need it because I always had a reliable ranged attack from the great spell save and spell attack. Bone Chill is a nice reliable range attack thanks to ability drain. I can lower their wisdom and do some damage with necrotic. Feels good to use it on like a necromancer. And then also I could always play in close range because of the armor class and the bonus necrotic damage from spores. So I could also hit them with my strength weapon, and then that would ability drain strength too, which would make them throw like easy to throw, right? So the melee would add to a lot of value as well, not just the bonus damage, but draining their strength, which makes them easy to throw or push or whatever. And then I had great strength to throw things, push people, all that stuff. Okay, so he's great in melee because of that armor class and everything. Anyway, there's huge versatility here. Okay, for one, Druid is a really underrated class, I feel. It's wrong to say it was the lowest picked class because I think you just get 2 Druid companions throughout the game, so maybe people do play with Druid. But it seems like it's not praised enough. Druid is such an easy caster to learn. If you're ever worried about like, I just don't get spell save, or oh, I don't understand spell attack, or is Wisdom good? Yes, Wisdom is fantastic, right? It would be the better mental stat, but Charisma just has, in Honor mode at least, just the advantage of using Charisma stuff. Okay, but Druid in a nutshell is extremely versatile thanks to fantastic spells like Dryad, Wall of Fire, Insect Plague, Enhance Ability, Hold Person. You have everything you need in here. Even Create Water if you have Lightning or Ice on your team. You're a team player, you're a Control Master, you can do great damage, you can, I mean, you don't have every spell under the sun, you just have every spell you would need, okay? And you have, at the end of the day, Wild Shape, this cool little mechanic here of Wild Shape, right? So running a pure Druid through the game on Honor mode, no fancy multi-classes, you have everything you need between Guidance, Shilly in the early game to use your staff to beat people up, but I went with the Strength Elixir, so it didn't even matter there, but yeah. So where this gets crazier, like the versatility's there on Druid, right? Because you can use your Wild Shape to kind of give yourself, even if you don't go Moon Druid, you can still use Wild Shape to give yourself like more of a melee combatant forms that get bonus attacks just like Marshals do. You get extra attack as you level up your Druid, level 5, level 10. And then these refresh, your Wild Shape charges refresh on short rest, okay? So like, the versatility is there. When we take it to a whole nother level with Spore Druid, trust me, this is my style. I love this. So that just these few different abilities from the subclass, and I love subclasses because they I don't know. I don't love every subclass, but this is my kind of subclass. This is something I like to see in subclass. So what this subclass gives you just enhances that versatility of Druid. And again, we're playing a level 12 Druid, so it's all there, right? So Halo of Spores gives your reaction a new attack. So you can use your reaction in a new way to do necrotic damage, right? It is a Constitution save, but it comes from, I believe, your basic like spell save DC. I honestly don't know how well this like gets boosted, but 17's pretty good, honestly. And I think it's coming from my wisdom and my proficiency like normal, but this is not a spell, so it can't be ignored. You just get it. It's a free attack on reaction, and it's great action economy because you have your action, bonus action, and now you have an attack with your reaction. What do you do with your action? You can cast Bone Chill. Bone Chill is something you get from the subclass. It's a cantrip that gets stronger. It does have a little effect here, and since it is a wisdom attack, if you're using ability drain, this came in handy huge, right? Wisdom saving throws is one of the most important saving throws your enemies have against your spells, like hold spell, right? And this keeps dropping it once per turn. I can hit a Bone Chill and drop their wisdom. This came in handy so much. Then there's the fact that necrotic is actually a pretty good damage type. It's pure necrotic, and this gets stronger over the course of your leveling. You have necrotic damage thanks to the symbiote, right? Your melee damage does a little necrotic, so you get the theme, you get everything there, but like at level 10, your bonus action, you have a new bonus action. This thing sets up a small AoE area damage, right, with necrotic damage. So you're getting a lot for investing more and more, not just into Druid, but the subclass. And here's the cool thing from a mechanics kind of thing. Not to mention the fungal zombies, we're going to talk about that. But from a mechanics thing, reutilizing the basic Druid mechanic here, short rest, wild charges, and turning it into something that's effectively better, in my opinion. Instead of getting the wild shape, like turning into an owlbear, and then you have a temporary HP through that, right? Once that HP goes away, you pop out of the form, now you're just normal, right? This lets you utilize those charges on short rest in a different way. You still get that HP bonus, which is getting better per level of Spore Druid, by the way. So this temp HP goes up for every level of Spore Druid. So cool. Incentivize me to go into Spore Druid more and more and more, not multi-class. Multi-class has its benefits. Give me benefits for staying in the class, in the subclass, right? You obviously, from level 2 right off the bat, get the 1d6 necrotic for being in symbiote form, and that's going to affect your weapon attacks, okay? But even better, symbiote also makes your Halo of Spores double damage. So this now does 2d8 rather than 1d8. Also, this D damage is 1d4, then it becomes 1d6, and now it's 1d8 at high level. So again, more incentivization for playing the Spore Druid. I think you get a little bit more wild charges for going more Druid, but it's ultimately just pretty early on. It's 2 on short rest. But yeah, in mid-fight, you can just get this back up if you lose it, and it keeps you alive, man. I was so confident playing with Dippy. So there's so much I could be saying about Spore Druid now that I've played it, but I just hope you see sort of the advantages, or just like the beautiful bonuses you get even just playing a pure level 12 Spore Druid, okay? So like I said, you got melee covered, you have crazy action economy. I always had a card to play. I knew this when I was analyzing it for the videos. Now that I played it all the way through honor mode, you had something to play with action, bonus actions, reactions. In fact, your reaction can make a zombie, right? Because this is a necromancer type subclass, right? So if you're not using Halo of Spores, you could use it for a zombie. These are only 4 per long rest, but these zombies can make more temporary zombies too. So we always had a card to play. It was crazy. Not to mention add in all your spell slots, because you are a full level 12 caster. That's what makes Druid crazy. And with our Asterion, we had tons and tons of scrolls, so we could cast anything. We always had a card to play. Crazy. Throw and push is so good. I could go a whole video about strength and its benefits. It comes a lot from throw and push. The ability drain, draining strength with my regular attack or draining wisdom with bone chill is very useful, and it became a real valuable perk for the team later on. I had tons of control thanks to the Dryad, for instance, right? So if you don't know about Dryad on Druid, this little summon right here. Okay, Dryad is awesome. It can just put down once per turn. You could just keep putting down spike growth, which is wild. You don't have to concentrate it. She'll concentrate on it for you. She has entangle. She can even beat people up with her own shilly dilly staff, right? So just things like that give you so much extra control, and then all the extra control spells you have as a druid. Just a pack mule, because he's using the strength elixir. Like I said, you can just carry stuff and forget it. Just hit this. That's good enough. Done. It's organized. Whatever. I don't care. Honestly, a good face of the party, even without that charisma. Just because Druid, every class has some unique bonuses when you're doing dialogues. You never know when they crop up. I don't care to study it too much or like catalog it all, but it's the fun of just discovering like what classes have little bonuses. So even without charisma, just a little proficiency here in persuasion, and every once in a while I got an intelligence or wisdom dialogue bonus, but honestly did great as a main character or a face of the party. Oh, as a Dwergar, dude, going invisible, oh my gosh, this was great. I started a lot of fights once I started picking up on this trick. I already knew and did a video about surprise, right? So invisibility is a great way to start fights, because I could just walk up, as long as I knew once I was exposed they could see me, I could just walk up, and then I have a good chance of hitting somebody, and then it's not going to kill them or anything, but it's going to start the fight off with everybody being surprised because I went invisible, hit somebody, they all look at me immediately and go, oh my gosh. So he's a great surprise initiator, and that would give me a free round for all my guys to sneak in and start the fight off really strong. So dude, crazy, right? Dryad, and then if you know, you know, right? Woad. Where is he? Woad. Dryad can make their own summon as well. Another great perk about them. Just another body on the field. more actions for you to use, have that like unique feeling of necromancer benefits for being a Spore Druid necromancer. You have all your ghouls, but you also have your dryad and your woad and all that, your elemental. Crazy, right? And that's what I meant, just necromancer. Since you are a level 12 necromancer, it means you can produce 3 necromancies. One of my ghouls died, but we had ghouls, we had elementals. I mean, as a necromancer, you have a lot of summons to play with, so that was fun. And then there's the fungal zombies on reaction. Crazy. I had to get used to this, and I even goofed on getting the Danse Macabre we talked about in the videos, right? But okay, whatever. You know, I got it. I still ended up having fun with Necromancer once I like realized how to manage them. And then you probably want this helmet if you're going to be a Necromancer, because it gives a lot of longevity to them. Okay, but I wasn't using this as much as I should have until Act 3, where I was really getting the hang of like using our necromancers and saw the power of ghouls and hold person. Great combo. Okay, so yeah, I goofed on this and gave up our knowledge of Danse Macabre so I could get 2 more wisdom at the mirror. So don't, you know, learn from my mistakes. On honor mode, you learn it the hard way and you can't take it back, so learn it for the next run. But yeah, all this being said right here and everything I've blabbered on about, this guy was low-key MVP. I remember, I think it was Rocky in the stream, somebody in the stream was like, I just feel like the Spore Druid's the main character. He's the main focus of the run. He's just not really contributing. I was not contributing? This guy just made me so brazen in every fight on honor mode, right? I just knew, okay, if everybody dies, he can just run away, or he won't die because he's got crazy armor class. He's got great temp HP, great HP. He has medium armor, capability, shield. Like, this guy just made it so I could just walk into every fight and be like, ah, we'll probably just, even if we die, like Dippy will get out of there somehow with an invisibility potion, and I'll just go resurrect everyone with our 20,000 gold. It's fine. All right, so he was honestly hilarious, and I highly recommend a pure Spore Druid for your next honor run. Not just run, honor run. Man, this guy, so confident running in things with him. Just so you need to know, Circle of Bones, we had Cloak of Protection. Circle of Bones gives you in Act 2, you can get this from Balthazar, gives you more longevity if you're trying to use those necromancy stuff. Armor class on the cape. Eventually we used Spore Keeper, but we were using the 1T scale to get max benefit from our dexterity and have medium armor. 1T scale is amazing, it's broken. Do I still have it here? I think I put it in the camp. Can't go back. Dexterity gloves, because again, stat man. And with that being said, the elixir of Hill Giant, and then later Cloud Giant in Act 3. So you got your strength and your dexterity between these two. Armor, boots. I swapped these boots around, but ultimately, use a shield, especially Ketherick's shield, gives you a bonus to spell save, right? Advantage on dexterity saving throws. I didn't really use a staff for most of the game, but you can use that. I should have used Titan String Bow. It would have gave me another ranged option, and Titan String Bow definitely benefits from Ilmater arrows and having the Spore necrotic damage, but we didn't do that. And then honestly, he just has so many good options. Like, he doesn't have a high priority or his amulet, so I just use this a lot to get max heals. And then there's a utility slot here, and once again, armor. I think this was a really good build for putting extra armor class items on him. So there you go. Highly recommend. Hopefully I've talked enough about him. Let's move on to one of my favorite builds of all time now. This is, I love this. I talked about it in the Psychic video, the sheer power of Psychic. What this is a Warlock 12 Great Old One subclass. You do need to take Great Old One. There was a reason for this, especially because it relates back to the whole like absolute psychic powers, all this. She has a few more brain worms, but let's just cover it. So instead of the funniest person I know, Minnie is the scariest person I know. Look at that. Scary clown paint makeup. Okay. She's a Great Old One Warlock, right? You have to pick this because there's certain spells you get this that fit into the theme of the build. It's like Dissonant Whispers, maybe even Black Tentacles and Telekinesis. I think they all come from that as you level up. The feats here, I think in this order, was level 4 Actor, level 8 Alert, which is great. Around that time, it's great. And then level 12, we just had the bonus Charisma and really maxed out our Charisma, right? But we had good Charisma all the time because with Actor and starting out with 17 Charisma, you have 18 Charisma by level 4, and that's pretty much good enough. And then you have, if you need a Charisma character, I kind of abused this a little bit, sorry, but Like I said, F the rules. Deception performance is up, and if you start with persuasion proficiency and maybe intimidation, okay, she just, I think, happened to have that, or I don't know. But yeah, very fitting of Minthara, by the way. So she has her charisma bonuses like crazy, or her dialogue bonuses like crazy. So certain things, we could use her as a face of the party if it doesn't just snag the main character and force him to do it. But yeah, those are the feats. We did have a bonus. Like I said, all the characters got the mirror bonus. So charisma +2, that's how we got to 24 charisma. With the hat and the mirror and the feats. Okay. We did use some squid powers here. So Minnie starts with these, but I made sure she got ability drain as well. Favorable beginnings. We're not really using psionic overload or concentrated blast, but psionic backlash was a pretty critical thing for this build in flavor and even in function. Okay, so drain and psychic backlash is really what we used here. So heavy focus on, here's the points of the build that I want to highlight. There's a heavy focus on, I want to see a warlock, pure warlock caster, because I like warlock spell slots and I think they're underrated. Also, this is a heavy theme on psychic damage, and it's not just for fun. Psychic damage is almost the king damage in this game. There's some things that holds it back, but it's fun nonetheless, right? It's doing a vicious mockery that can do 60 damage is kind of wild. It'll never be Eldritch Blast strong, but it's pretty cool. Okay, and it has some other bonuses here thanks to psychic damage and psychic focus. So obviously the theme is a big consideration on the focus of the build. But let's just talk about it. There's a whole video about this if you really need to see the details. Again, sheer power of psychic power, or sheer power of psychic damage. But you do double psychic damage thanks to the Resonance Stone. There is this little item. I have it on Dippy currently because it made more sense that way, but I think it's right here. It is a hat. It is the Resonance Stone, which produces the Steeped in Bliss condition in 30 feet around your character, okay? The reason this is so powerful, and there's different ways to build for psychic damage, that's why I covered it in one big video. It doubles your psychic damage, is the trade-off. It means you are also vulnerable to psychic damage, but right now we have resistance to it. And Great Old One eventually just gains natural resistance to psychic damage, so it can never backfire on you in that way. However, it does make everyone in that 30-foot radius, including yourself, mentally weak to mental saving throws, meaning you have disadvantage on saving throws. So keep that in consideration. I certainly did. You gotta have ways to counter that. Mental fatigue was a big focus on that psychic attacks. So look at this ring. If the foe fails a saving throw, you know, like Vicious Mockery or Dissonant Whispers, since she's going to be a spellcaster, right? They will get 2 turns of mental fatigue. And what does mental fatigue do? Well, it makes it a penalty per stack on wisdom, intelligence, and charisma saving throws. The big one here is negative penalty to wisdom, so you can see where this is going. But if you take it too far, level 5 or higher stacks, it does bonus psychic damage. You could think of this as like reverb for the mental stats, whereas reverb affects only the physical stack, strength, dex, con. This affects all of these, but wisdom's the big consideration here. Now look at this, brain drain gloves. Mental fatigue, if you deal psychic damage, they get 2 turns of mental fatigue. Vicious Mockery and Dissonant Whispers, the big focus of the build, at least initially, but good all game, right? Okay, these do psychic damage and their spell save DCs. So if they fail and take the hit, they take the damage, and they fail the roll, that means they get 1, 2, 3, 4 mental fatigue. And if you hit them again, that's another 4 mental fatigue. It'll pop this psychic damage after 5 stacks. Now, there's some really weird interactions here, okay? So the Potent Robes boost your cantrips with the charisma. So we have +7 charisma. That would add 7 damage to our Vicious Mockery and our Eldritch Blast. Now, Eldritch Blast, we already know is strong. I did that. I covered that. We tried to steer clear of this when we didn't need it. Okay? But Vicious Mockery has +7 psychic damage from the robes, and then it's doubled. All the psychic damage is doubled. That's how I'm able to hit really hard with Vicious Mockery. Then there's this little debuff. Whenever I hit somebody, they also have disadvantage on their next attack roll. That helps your team out, right? Dissonant Whispers will force Frighten condition while doing 7d6 psychic, because I'm currently at level 5 spell slots with my Warlock, and I get 3 of these per short rest. So I can drop 3 of these nukes and they're double damage, right? Crazy. I love this. So you can do, if you haste yourself, you have 2 actions, you would drop a Dissonant Whispers, then you would drop a Vicious Mockery, because check this out. This is going to drop 4 mental fatigue between those 2 items, right? And then this is going to pop that mental fatigue and do bonus psychic damage. Now, the reason I do it this way is if you pop the mental fatigue with Vicious Mockery, you're obviously going to get the charisma modifier added, the +7 added to this. But then when you pop that, you're going to do 1d4 additional from mental fatigue, and it's going to add +7 to that too, and all of it is psychic damage, so it all gets doubled, right? So Vicious Mockery, I'm not joking, you go watch the streams, right? This was hitting around like 46 to like 64 or something like that. I forget what it was. I've seen it hit 54, I've seen it hit 60 during the run, all because you get this popping off with the potent robes, and then the additional effect also steals the damage rider from the potent robes. So that's why you want to do this one first, or just do 2 Vicious Mockeries. But if you pop the mental fatigue with Vicious Mockery, it does that bonus damage. Very critical detail, right? Okay, mental fatigue overall though is great for hold spells or anything that will end up doing a wisdom saving throw. So mental fatigue is just a really good bonus. The extra damage I just explained in too much detail, but that's how we were doing crazy Vicious Mockery damage, all right? It's what makes the build a lot of fun. But then the Warlock casting was a big goal here. Insane spell save DC. Holy crap. Spell save DC, spell attack, look at that. Just natty. It comes from things like Rhapsody. I can't get this thing enough. This is one of my favorite items in the game. Obviously, the extra charisma from your hat, having the mirror bonuses, having the high charisma. Okay, the cloak here gives a bonus. This is +3 bonus here, and then we have the Battle Mage Elixir. Okay, so Battle Mage Elixir is also another reason how we're getting that high up in our spell save. So 26, that's really hard to stop, okay? Especially if I can cause disadvantage with being Steeped in Bliss, because remember, Steeped in Bliss, where is it? Steeped in Bliss also affects enemies, not just vulnerable to a psychic, but entities also have their disadvantage on mental saving throws. So when you throw out a hold person with 26 spell save DC, right? And they have -4 from mental fatigue, and they have disadvantage from Steeped in Bliss, and they're taking double psychic damage. This thing rocks. I love this build. This is so freaking cool. Because of the bow and because of Pact of the Tome. Pact of the Tome is what gave us Vicious Mockery. It gives us a haste at level 5. It gives us guidance, which is great. This could be a main character easily in your run, and you're only really, contrary to Dippy, who was a stat man, this, you just focus on one stat and you're a monster, okay? So you have insane spell save DC. You have 9 level 5 spell slots, kind of, okay? A little disingenuous, but every short rest you get 3. So in a normal, like 3, you get, every long rest would be like 3 short rest, unless you had a bard or something, right? So you have 3 of these, and you can take this even crazier if you abuse those angelic potions, right? Angelic reprieve. Okay, so if you abuse this, you can do another short rest on that character alone, but I don't really play like that. So just 3 short rest periods alone, you have 3 level 5 Dissonant Whispers, and these do double damage, right? Then you have all these other cool spells, okay? So Vicious Mockery cantrip plus the Dissonant Whispers, that's your bread and butter right there. You have 2 self-haste with the bow and the Pact of the Tome. Let's see, you have the Elemental. Later on you can create Elemental, which is actually really good. Again, this run had a lot of summons play. Telekinesis is one of my new favorite spells. Oh my god, it's saved people, allies, it's destroyed enemies. We're gonna, I didn't put it up yet. I gotta upload the Gortash fight, but go check that out in the stream. That was the funniest thing. I had, in one turn, I just used Telekinesis like 3 times just to take someone from all the way back here, bring them up here, and then push them down a cliff. Telekinesis is amazing. I love it. It fits the theme. It comes with the Great Old One, so you have to get that. Okay, Tentacles is an amazing control spell, especially in a certain fight in Act 2. Okay, hold spells are incredible because, again, this is level 5 spell slots in endgame. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 hold person on just one cast of it. And then if you need to hold a specific like monster, like Raphael or something, you could use that, and you get 3 of them. That's crazy, okay? And you'll just have 3 more in a short rest for next fight. Okay, crazy. And we always had Eldritch Blast. This, I tried to steer clear of this, but there's no way in hell I'm gonna not use this if I can or have to. I know in the Ornn fight, she pissed me off enough that I was like, okay, screw this, boom, boom, boom. So you do have crazy backup damage since you're using the Potent Robes and Agonizing Blast. Your Eldritch Blast is gonna do plus 14 3 times on each blast, right? So we're not even using like an Eldritch Blast set, and we still have a powerful Eldritch Blast. Honestly, an Act 3 build, because of the psychic damage stuff, you don't get Steeped in Bliss, the Resonance Stone, and you really don't get these gloves, and I think even this ring until late Act 2. So this is really just becomes a powerhouse. I would say the Ketheric fight, but he's undead, so you don't even get the benefits there too much either, but hey, you can debuff him with Mental Fatigue, so... Psychic is so close to being king because of things like that. If it was good all game instead of just Act 3, Psychic would be boss element in this game. Also, Mental Fatigue is monstrous. And then, yeah, there's just not a lot of things that are immune, or if there wasn't the stupid condition with like undead don't have brains technically, so they can't be steeped in bliss. That's how that works out, I guess. This would just be the best damage type, and this would be one of the best builds in the game. And it's pure level 12 Warlock, baby! I love it. Okay, come on. I can't stress this enough. Okay, and this, I feel this is very fitting of Minthara, so if you want a really cool, unique Minthara build, here you go. Absolute power, absolute fun, highly recommend it. Probably one of my new favorite builds of all time in this game. Tons of fun, okay? Mental Psychic Warlock is the coolest thing thematically, but also functionally, between Telekinesis, Worms, Dominate Person, Hold Monster, Warlock spell slots, Eldritch Blasting, Vicious Mockery doing 60 damage, what? Dissonant Whispers, nukes, hasting yourself. Oh man, Soulbrand is also one of the coolest things. Very, very worth getting mini for. Anyway, let's gush enough about that build. Let's talk about really quickly about Lae'zel's build. She's a lot more straightforward, so I won't go rambling too much with this build. Okay, I always wanted to do a crossbow build. I've done it in Tactician and Honor Mode. I've been meaning to get back to this build. This is super simple. You want a good, doesn't have to be Ranger, but it feels really good with Hunter Ranger because of the volley you get at level 11, but it takes forever to get there. I honestly could have played this build better, but this was very simple. We abused Acuity. I could have used the Battle Acuity or Fire Acuity, didn't matter. I set my weapon up with fire damage, and I also have the Infernal Helldust Gloves here. So this is a 12 Ranger Hunter. We use Crossbow Expert, which was honestly not as good as it could have been. Really didn't need it, but this was more of the flavor. I had to pretend like I had to run up to targets, run up to them, and then go Karpow, right? Like this, okay? So I run up to them, and then I shotgun blast them, but it's really not necessary. The cool thing is playing a crossbow user with high armor class who can get in melee range and just blast everybody. And one of the ideas here was to eventually finally get Barrage and see if we could abuse Barrage with Acuity, so it always lands, and it just wasn't really turning out. Anyway, the feats were Crossbow Expert first, then Sharpshooter, then Dexterity. And if I would have played this better, this would have been the correct order, but I'll get to that. We did get a bonus to Dexterity from our... Hey, the mic and music. We did get a bonus from the mirror on our Dexterity, and I did use the Heroism Elixir because I feel like this is one of the better low-key elixirs, and kind of needed it since we went with Sharpshooter first. No Squid Brain. See, hesitating. You don't need squid powers for this. Battle Acuity, very simple. We use Fire Acuity. If you know, you know. Damon died to a cow. So we always honored him, and we used the Drake Throat Glaive to get our weapon buffed with the bonus fire, and that would allow us to use the Fire Acuity, you know, the hat that Damon died for. Oh, okay. Anyway, so we honor Damon with Herald. Herald itself, I didn't even put this in the notes. This is an awesome weapon because it has a high chance to bane targets because it's a charisma saving throw check, which really isn't a big consideration for the whole game for your enemies. So you can bane them, and bane ends up lowering their attack rolls and saving throws, making it easier to miss. Stay safe. You are pretty tanky with this setup, but also getting those spells to pay off with the saving throws. A 1d4 penalty is great, okay? So yeah, we had fire acuity plus the bane. We could really land our spell scrolls. So it's really simple. You fire at them, the fire acuity builds up your acuity, and then you go from 16 all the way up to 25 or 26 acuity, or spell save. And then you just blast them with scroll spells like Disintegrate. We did a lot of Disintegrate and a lot of Chain Lightning. It was fun. Okay, very straightforward. High armor class, you can run up to them, pop them, and hit them with the big spell button. The big spell button. Like Disintegrate or Chain, it's very reliable when you have 10 acuity, 25 spellcaster, okay? Always wanted to run this idea. I mean, I did, but I wanted to run it more dedicated and pure like this and try to test Barrage, and I just played it poorly early on. I should have been using my good old Risky Ring plus the Crossbow Expert so that I can run up to them. Then I don't have disadvantage when I'm running up on them, and then like if you run up to them and try to shoot somebody, you're gonna have disadvantage. Crossbow Expert makes it so you have no disadvantage, and then Risky Ring would make it so you have advantage. So you can just always run up to them and have advantage and reliably shoot them in the face, especially once you get volley. Everybody's gonna hurt with volley. Okay, Barrage was a little disappointing, but I take full responsibility for this because I didn't focus enough on learning this. I'll make a video trying to figure out how Barrage can be good, if at all. It just comes really late, by the way. Yeah, being a half caster, I could talk a whole video about that, and I will. Anyway, bow crossbows is still good. Unreal. Every run I was obsessed with archers for a lot of my runs. Still kind of am. Try to steer clear from it. Dude, Dex is just such a good stat because you use ranged weapons, and ranged weapons are super good. The sharpshooter, crossbow expert not so much, but sharpshooter, Dex, easy ways to raise your accuracy. These arrows, like, she's just reliable, okay? Or I should say bows and crossbows are always just reliable, and obviously volley is beastly once you get it at level 11. Just running up and shooting this big of an area with all this damage right here. Sharpshooter, ranged, we could have made this even stronger, not to mention the poison damage, and you can put coatings on there. I mean, yeah, crazy good. Shotgun crossbow, baby, that was the whole point of the build. It was still tons of fun. I definitely recommend it because at the end of the day, if you just need to slot something in on your team, you can't go wrong with somebody using a crossbow or hand crossbows or longbows. There's tons of good builds out there, and they're really straightforward. Just get sharpshooter and make them accurate. They're strong. Okay, anyway, finally, let's get to the Arcane Trickster. Holy moly. Dude, Arcane Trickster. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to pretend this is the strongest build in the world. Okay, but I come at it from a different angle, especially in honor mode. I don't want to hear certain things, but let's just dive into it. Asterion was our handyman, and this is a pun here because of Hans, obviously, but he was a handyman. Like, Asterion and Hans were a dream team during this run, especially in Act 2. He was very good damage dealer, okay? Arcane Trickster, level 12, means we're going to get 4 feats, by the way. So we get 2 intelligence, and then I think I did 2 dex. And then I was like, oh, I need to, he's not our main character, so I didn't give him hag here. So I was like, oh, I need to get like that up to 20. So I got 1 int and might as well take the constitution. So that helps with concentration and getting it up to 14. And then dual wield. Dual wield because we have the legendary staff. We were running the spell sparkler. I had bigger plans for this, but hey, at least it helped out with the shocking grasp. Gave me some charges. This, I was thinking I was probably going to run a little more magic missile build with the psychic spark here and the never misser and all the scrolls of magic missile, but I honestly didn't use it that much because I was having too much fun with our setup, okay? So he did get the mirror intelligence, that's how he has 22. He is bloodlust, so if he gets somebody a kill, which he did, he got a lot of kills, so he can always get a bonus action. Legendary staff and the spell sparkler. Legendary staff adds bonus damage to your electric spells, and then he is a vampire lord. We ended up getting him vampire lord, so now his weapon attacks have that bonus necrotic damage, which helps out. Okay, no squid powers. I was actually going to use them, but actually forgot. he can use them, he just forgot. He was willing to. Shocking grasp. So the whole setup here is working off of the necklace that adds your spell modifier intelligence to the cantrip damage. And then by using a cantrip, you now have arcane synergy, thanks to the ring. And if you use a spell or a cantrip with lightning or thunder or whatever, it's going to add a little 1d4 lightning of that element to the next shot. So we would use our offhand shot. So the way this goes is your cantrip on action. Use your action for a cantrip, run up to him. You use a Shocking Grasp. What it's going to do is add damage to that cantrip for lightning damage. It's going to activate your bonuses from the rings and from your spell sparkler, and then you're going to be able to run away safely because this stops reactions, so they can't take an opportunity attack. And then you get away from them. You can now do an offhand shot and usually set up a sneak attack, right? So your bonus action is going to let you use your offhand shot, and you're going to get Arcane Synergy, extra damage from intelligence on the shot. You're going to get Infusion from the ring, so extra electric damage. You're going to have electric charges from your stabs, and you're going to get a sneak attack if you can set it up, like with Hans. Ooh. So honestly, your offhand shot goes from being piss poor, 1d6 plus 2, to having a ton of bonuses, and you're getting reverb from both your Shocking Grasp and your offhand shot lightning damage, because reverb comes from the gloves and the boots, and honestly, just crazy stuff. If you need to know, we're using this because in combat, this gives me 2 extra dexterity. Out of combat, I can steal anything with the advantage that this brings, and we would commonly swap out our gear, like our rings, to a set that would let us steal things. And so we'll talk about that in a moment. But for the cantrip, yeah, this damage plus the reverb, if we wanted to, I didn't do this enough, okay? I honestly just don't play this enough. It's not that it's bad, I just keep forgetting to throw water from somebody else and then getting double damage with our lightning damage by just adding water. But man, this little setup here feels good, plays good, looks cool. There's tons of style points here, and sometimes I just value that. Doesn't have to be the strongest build, but honestly with water, this was very strong, and in Act 2, he was very strong. Okay. Don't tell me Rogue is bad. I never want to hear this. 1 level of Rogue, 2 level of Rogue. Put it in your multi-class. I don't care, but a pure Rogue even. Rogue is so good. Stop telling me Rogue's bad. Okay. Obviously no one's telling me Rogue's bad, but I just see a bad reputation out there, and I get it. I came from the same thing. I thought Rogue, it doesn't have extra attack. It doesn't have spell slots. Arcane Trickster sucks. I don't know. Whatever. I came from the same area. Look, now I play honor mode. Now I play pure builds or this or that, multi-class, whatever. Okay, now I've done a pure Arcane Trickster, so that is a pure Rogue in and of itself. Look, utility is king. If you're not using the bag glitch, which I don't do, right? I try to like play this on honor mode honorably to extent. Sleight of hand is broken, right? If that bag glitch didn't exist, this is your ticket to getting all the most powerful gear, getting through certain areas, picking locks, stopping traps. I mean, crazy. You don't even have to go stealth. Just sleight of hand. Made a video on sleight of hand. Everybody loves it because they're like, oh, now I understand how this works. And once you know the power of sleight of hand, it's insane, okay? This guy could have been main character. This guy could have been a solo build. I'm so interested in it, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but okay. Anyway, sleight of hand is OP. It's MVP, honestly. Dippy was the MVP, but I could easily make a case that sleight of hand is always MVP in every game, okay? Just from Rogue alone, all right? I know Bards can do it. I know Bards also get expertise, but man, level 1 expertise always feels good, okay? And it doesn't change the fact that, oh, Bards get it? Well, so do Rogues. That doesn't make Rogues not have it, okay? Level 4 feat, you get 4 feats with a level 12 Rogue. You get a bonus one at level 10 as per the usual 4, 8, 10, 12, there you go. Okay. Cunning actions, I can't stress this enough. Again, low-key value here is cunning actions. Being able to hide is nice, but also the dash on bonus action. I mean, this is why I value Rogue and multi-class or pure Rogue. Disengage even. Just, dude, cunning actions is good. Come on. All right, Arcane Trickster, baby. I don't care what anyone says. I did a video on it. I didn't really make a debate or a case. I was just saying, is it good? Let's look at it. Here's some ideas. And the one I really wanted to play in a real run, it was the pure level 12 Arcane Trickster with the Shocking Grasp setup. That's how we got here. But man, Hans, this little like mage hand you get. Okay, this mage hand you get is permanent and it starts out invisible. And if you short rest, you can get another cast of it, or the one you have out can just go invisible again, okay? Tips and tricks for people who don't understand this little thing. This guy, Mage Hand, is already good. This makes me want to use Mage Hand because I don't have to worry about a turn limit, and because his utility is crazy, and we'll talk about it. But dude, Arcane Trickster has this cool little benefit of having a Mage Hand that lasts forever and is invisible, okay? Cantrips, Like, you're able to cast cantrips. No other rogue subclass can say that. So you are a bit of a little mix caster. The subclass isn't meant to be the craziest spellcaster, but I found a way. Okay, but cantrips, we were able to make a whole build about Shocking Grasp and make a playstyle out of it. It was awesome. Okay, Magical Ambush. Didn't use this enough because I really didn't need to on a team like this, but in a different team, hiding on bonus action and popping out with your main action and casting, say, Hold Person, would be really powerful if you didn't have more other reliable ways, or your team's just not set up for that. So Magical Ambush is a very good perk. Comes around at level 9 though, so I can understand people's frustration there. You can do a laser sneak attack if you put the Never Misser in your main hand. So your offhand shot can get the sneak attack, and then you could do force damage with your sneak attack damage. Okay, this would adopt the force damage, so just a little perk there. I think it's some style points. I like it, and it bypasses piercing resistances because very few things resist force damage. Okay, shield, because you are a spellcaster and because your class comes with the shield, you can choose shield, and now this saves your butt a lot of times. Okay, very good reaction usage right there, because rogues are not really going to go for opportunity attacks all the time. I would rather just keep them safe. That's a bonus about Arcane Trickster, in my opinion. Magic Missiles. I could have easily made this build all about Magic Missiles, because I can steal a crazy amount of scrolls. I can get 3 short rest Magic Missile level 3 missiles. I get Psychic Spark, would give you a bonus missile on per shot, and I have the Spell Sparkler. So honestly, anybody can be a Magic Missile abuser. Arcane Trickster is a pretty good one, by the way, because you can just steal all your Magic Missiles. All right, and you have the Tasha and the Hold spell for your level 2 spells. All right, pretty good control in the early game, and Hold Person's always going to be good all game, but it's not very powerful on Arcane Trickster because you can only hold one target because you don't get that many spell slots. But who needs spell slots? Learn spells? No spells? Are you kidding me? Look at all these spells. Okay, you get 1 level 6 spell as a level 2 caster. Am I right? Dippy, what do you have for your spell slots? Okay, you get 1 level 6 spell slot. Okay, it does mean you can upcast them and all that, but let's just look at the level 6 spells. Oh, I can use Sunbeam. Okay, let's put Sunbeam on, and now I can cast Sunbeam no times because I already used my spell slot. So if you were an Arcane Trickster, right, you could not only, because you're a rogue, you could steal however many Sunbeams you want, you know, like 10 of them, okay? You can have 10 Sunbeam stockpiled. Scrolls are broken, by the way. Okay, and here's my case, because I can have 10 Sunbeams, and Sunbeam itself lasts for 10 turns. And if you have a high enough casting stat, because you know you're a caster, right? Anybody can use scrolls, but Arcane Trickster has the other benefits too. But hey, if you're gonna have those benefits, right, you might as well raise your intelligence stat, and now you can cast this with intelligence, and they have to beat out, oh yeah, it doesn't show you, but you have to beat out your 22 intelligence on your Sunbeam on a Constitution throw for 10 turns. You just Kamehameha them as an Arcane Trickster. 12 levels of Arcane Trickster. No real good spell slots, but I don't need them because I have 4 Chain Lightnings, 10 Scroll Beams, and honestly, casting Scroll of Invulnerability saved me. And you can say, well, anybody can be a spellcaster like that. Yeah. No crap, dummy. That's the point I'm making. So you don't need spell slots, and so Arcane Trickster isn't really held down by spell slots not being available. You just can't upcast things like Hold Person, but honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care, because I have 10 scrolls of Sunbeam, I have Chain Lightning, I have Elementals, and I can steal all of them because I'm a rogue with expertise in sleight of hand. Okay, woohoo! Alright, and yeah, it's just... Arcane Trickster is a fantastic spellcaster. I really don't care to argue with somebody. If you disagree with me, I can't convince you otherwise. I sure hope you watch the stream, because man, this was fun to play. I had style, and at the end of the day, I could cast whatever I wanted, honestly. So his name is Hans. I can't stress enough, Hans is kind of low-key MVP, okay? Hans was able to, he literally saved the run in the Raphael fight. It was kind of coincidence, but him and Hope were... Like, I needed Hope to heal everybody. That was a rarity in that fight, but it happened. And Hans just being another presence in the fight, ironically, it's not how you usually use him, but he saved the run by just being another presence. So I accidentally hit end turn on Hope without casting my spell, and Hans had the same initiative turn. And so for him being there, he saved the run. And other than that, like, I was able to like cancel the end turn on Hope and heal everybody and keep them alive. It was crazy. Crazy coincidence. But in more practical terms, Hans did help out in fights because he can throw potions on the ground, right? Make somebody like Hope invisible, keep her alive for a little longer, toss a speed potion. That fight, the Raphael fight, was a great example of that. So this really adds a lot to the subclass because you can throw potions, you know, you can get yourself out of there with invisibility or get another action with speed. He pushed Goldilocks off the cliff, so if you give him a strength elixir, he can actually push people to their doom because he's invisible. He gets good push on initiation, right? He can retrieve items by throwing it near you or close to somebody, and then they can just put it in their bag. Like, for instance, if he threw something over to Asterion, and then Asterion could pick that up with no action, and then Asterion with no action could then take that item and send it over to, say, Dippy, and then Dippy can now use that item that was all the way across the map, right? Just little weird things that are creative you can do with the Mage Hand. Okay, and because he doesn't have 10 turns, he can actually do a lot. Okay, so you can use an elixir like Vigilance so he can get good initiative. So if he does get exposed, he will actually have a better initiative to run away or keep him alive or do something. Or you can use a strength elixir, like I said, push people around, whatnot. He's invisible. This refreshes on short rest, or if you just cast him again because he died, you can just cast him and he always starts out invisible, and he's permanent, no 10 turns, right? He's a sneak attack enabler. Okay, the way this works is your sneak attack just needs someone within 5 feet of an enemy, right? So if I come up like this while I'm invisible, I don't have to worry about turn-based mode. I can just keep flying around. We saw this tons, right? And so I could always reliably get my sneak attack. Watch, I can now use sneak attack. See, I'm using sneak attack. It's letting me use sneak attack because Hans is there even though he's not really in combat. Also, we used him a lot as an invisible scout with no danger to ourselves. If he died, great, he died, I could just summon him in, and it also resets the fight anyway if they exposed him. Otherwise, he could just fly freely without starting combat and just check things around, so I can go up to an enemy and examine. And just in honor mode, you really want to be prepared for fights. You want to look at things like saving throws and whatnot. So you just fly Hans up into the area and you can now examine things and check your opponent's armor class and stuff. So low-key champ of the run. He was really great. I can't stress it enough. It only takes 3 levels to pick up Arcane Trickster anyway, and this is what you get for the whole run. Okay, so these two as a team were honestly MVP for Act 2. Pickpocketing all game is always MVP. I can make a case for it, already did, right? But together they made good damage because of the little tips and tricks like sneak attack or just being able to throw potions and stuff. This set rocks in total. The Arcane Trickster, Asterion, and Hans are a wonderful team. Having a third hand really helps out, and I just highly recommend a pure Arcane Trickster. I don't care that it's not the strongest. I don't care if you think Bard is better. I don't care whatever you think. What I want you to do is just shut up and play it. It's fun. It's amazing. Try this set out. It was awesome. Okay, so we've gone on for quite a while here in this video, and that's great. Okay, get over it. So I just want to wrap things up with the video here, going over the team, right? The colony as a team overall was insanely fun. I love the power spikes, especially around Act 2 and then the beginning of Act 3, especially for characters like our Arcane Trickster here, or in Act 3 when we got to use Minthara. Okay, there was a good balance for honor mode where I didn't blow the game out. I probably didn't realize how much power I truly had because I was just learning things like how good telekinesis was or necromancy was once you got the hang of it. But it was still fun, and the Raphael fight kept me on my toes. The Sharon fight, I thought I dominated that, and then I goofed up a little bit, and that kept me on my toes. Just great all-around progression throughout the game. Tons of role compression. What I mean by that is, like, Dippy here, he could do many things. He can be your pack mule, he can be your main character, he can be the face of the party, he can be the guy who throws people, he can save other characters by picking them up. But we saw role compression with characters like Asterion was good damage dealer, he was a good initiator, he was good utility with his if I needed to. If we were really screwed, like, he could run away with his bonus action. That's what's always valuable about Rogue and those bonus actions, right? So he could also steal things with pickpocketing and just scout ahead with Hans here, and so on and so forth. So a lot of these guys had amazing role compression. They didn't just damage dealer, tank, support. Like, every character had tons of roles to play. fixed into their stuff, and then they synergize really well, right? I was able to tackle honor mode fairly casually. I think I just approached this very easily, and I didn't use too much of the busted stuff. Early on, we did busted stuff like, you know, the kitty cat, minor illusion, and then also darkness and whatnot. And then, honestly, like I said, I think I started realizing late in Act 3 how busted we really were, and how Act 2 could have gone a lot better and whatnot. So I got used to the Necro Summon play and some other stuff. Definitely could make maybe a video on how to play with summons, but just some tips and tricks like, you know, giving elixirs so that your Dryad has vigilance, higher initiative, or maybe giving your ghouls elixirs so they can actually land their attacks, or just using hold person and then all your summons can slap the crap out of it. That's how we destroyed Saravok, is because I got used to this. And the synergy was totally by accident. I just wanted to play all these builds, so I put them all on the same team. Dude, the ability drain from this guy, right? Minthara's mental fatigue, reverb set with Asterion, and then just Bane from this shotgun. Those all lower saving throws, and things like Acuity and high spell save mean I can land any spell save, like spell attacks, whenever I wanted to. It's why it was becoming easier and easier. And then just the sheer amount of scrolls available to me. I could cast any spell and just be like, oh, I don't have to spend an action to just send this to Minthara, or Minthara can just go into this menu and be like, okay, I'm gonna cast this now. Like, oh, the ridiculous synergy. It was so much fun. It was a great run. Crazy. I've talked enough about this. Some things I want to spit out about the channel. If you've watched this video for an hour, whatever, I appreciate you. Like I said, it was going to be very self-indulgent, and for those who watched the run, wanted some answers on the builds or how I felt like the run went. Tons of fun. Thanks for those who were in the stream for watching, and thanks if you were watching right now and wanted to know. Maybe my voice put you to sleep, so let's talk about that real quick, about the channel real quick. Baldur's Gate 3 has been great. I love it. I'm addicted to it, especially a second time since Honor Mode came out, and I don't know when I'm going to stop playing this game because I'm stuck on Honor Mode. I've been trying to make videos help people realize how fun it is to play Honor Mode, a single save, get into it. It's too much fun. It's not as difficult as you think. It's more just you're rewarded for game mechanics, and there's so many ways to approach this game. Not just in like, oh, I could play solo, or I could play like 3 characters or whatever. I mean like just 4 characters. And forget the multi-classing fanciness. Like, even just pure characters can have fun and do crazy builds. Look at this, man. All freaking 12 characters, pure classes, okay? So it's not... Baldur's Gate 3 is not the reason I started this channel, though, right? There's more personal reasons. I want to share stuff that I like about video games or medium and all that stuff. So I want to make this clear, like, if you got this far, maybe I should have started the video with this stuff, but Baldur's Gate 3 is great. I'm probably going to play it forever, but it's not something that's always going to be the focus of this channel. But for now it is, because I just like Honor Mode way too much. And I'm hoping that me playing it, sharing it, coming up with ideas of showing not just builds, but like the fundamentals of building a character or how to approach a fight or stuff. I really hope this has been helpful, right? Because it justifies all the time I dump into the Honor Mode in this game, but also it's sharing. And I definitely believe in, if I put a blessing out there, it comes back in return, but I'm not asking for anything in return anyway. Hopefully you're being entertained with this. I have tons of solid, like ideas like solo honor runs with mods, and because I really haven't done this enough, surprisingly. And patch 8 coming out, we are playing as soon as I get access to it. Hopefully I can get into the stress test, but I am in love with the game, and I want to see these new subclasses because I'm already excited after the preview videos I did, and I already knew I wanted to play Hexblade, Bladesinger, Death Domain. Those are going to be some of the first. Arcane Archer looks amazing. Okay, and I have not done a true co-op run. I have one buddy who bothered to play with me on Tactician with co-op run. We're playing that on the side, but I will have plans for co-op runs, hopefully memberships and stuff like that. Maybe we can make something work out where I can play with people who are watching the stream. But yeah, overall, I just hope you're getting entertained or putting you to sleep or value from like your runs. It's so cool when I'm on a stream and someone's like, oh, dude, I tried that out, or oh, I'm gonna play my first honor run or something. Like, I hope I'm helping people enjoy the game like I am, because I find certain games like that I just get addicted to, and I cannot stop eating the meat on the bone, so to speak, right? That's my favorite type of games. Games that just give me thousands of hours and I play like a nerd. I don't know. at least I help people sleep, so if that's all I'm good for, hey, I'm still helping somebody out there. Sleep's important, man. I wish I got more of it. So I apologize in advance, though, if I ever switch gears on you. I'm not always going to be doing Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm likely to keep coming back to it. Right now, we're headlong into it, especially with patch 8. But if I apologize in advance if you catch me on stream or a video and I keep blabbing about invasions. Sometimes I get the itch or it grabs hold of me and I can't stop. There's some of my favorite YouTubers are and people who just play invasions, and give a certain saint I could give a call out to. Fire Emblem also has an itch. It always has, always will. I love Fire Emblem. Maybe not all tactics games, but I love Fire Emblem. Some soft spot in my heart for that, so you might see that on videos and streams. Same thing with Heroes of the Storm. I just get the itch to play it. It's just that multiplayer game I like. I don't really care for editing, so if you like my style, thank you. I would like to make better quality videos, so let's just be honest about that. I might hire an editor in the future, but I need feedback. Maybe you like this style. Maybe you like watching my video where for some reason you listen to me for an hour. I don't mind, but I want to hear, you know, I like getting feedback from you guys. Even if you want to be a jerk about it, fine, I can take it. I'm a man, I can handle it. I'm an adult. But I do appreciate feedback, and this is how I've been getting some good suggestions for videos or streams or whatever. And I don't even know what to play on my next honor mode run, guys. Help me out. So maybe you like my style anyway. So it's kind of funny. It's not the best style, not the most advanced stuff, but thanks. And seriously, a big thank you for not just watching this video, but anyone who's been supporting the channel. It's been growing like crazy just in a couple months, all because I just wanted to play Baldur's Gate and share it. Okay, so some New Year wishes for me and you. Again, seriously, thank you for all this stuff. I've been having tons of fun on the stream and the comments and the ideas, and I've been getting a lot of chuckles from the comments and stream chat, so thank you. Good laugh is good health, all right? Or good humor is good health. This year was fun, and this channel was at the tail end of it. A big focus for me, and I hope to keep growing it for next year, so I hope to see you guys in more streams. You know, seriously, hop in the streams. We have a lot of fun. We'll be doing some more crazy runs in honor mode. And my resolution for this new year is I just want to keep growing the channel, keep running Baldur's Gate 3, keep playing it, and keep helping people with their runs. And maybe we'll have some cool new video games coming out, and I'll cover them as well. And I'll try and talk about some more stuff. There's some more hidden stuff I will talk about. Ideas for the channel I've had and maybe can do this year, but we'll talk about them when that time comes. So more importantly, screw me, right? I wish you an awesome 2025. With all the craziness that people pretend is going on in the world, I want you to remember it's just another year. The world spins. It's not a nihilistic take. It's actually a hopeful take. Look at this beautiful music playing from this game right now. I really seriously wish you a happy new year. Whoever you are out there, whatever year it actually is, could be 2025 coming up, or it could be in the future you're watching this video, but always remember, I think it came from one of my favorite characters of all time, Samwise from Lord of the Rings, right? Book or movie, I don't care. But he said, you know, that's just it, Mr. Frodo. It's like the terrible stories you hear all the time. But you remember, the reason we like those stories is because the bad stuff eventually goes away like a bad storm, and then the sun comes out and everything can be good again, and we can have, yeah, like I'm butchering it, but man, I love Samwise. What a beast of a character. Carried Frodo all the way to the top and saved the little guy like Sam could save the universe. But yeah, always look towards the future. So happy New Year's to you guys. Our sponsors, as always, you guys. If you're watching, thank you so much. And if you want to support the channel, I'm not here to talk about all that right now. Just thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the fireworks. Happy New Year's, guys. Be safe. See you next year.